The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation provides an excellent platform for the Asian powerhouse to deepen relations and forge new ties with various countries on the continent. Now, one of those is Ethiopia, whose new Prime Minister has implemented a raft of reforms since taking office. Well, CGTN's Gurum Chala sat down with the Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, to discuss his hopes for the Beijing summit.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, for helping us achieve this important interview on behalf of CGTN. Now, the relationship between China and Ethiopia is something that can be taken as an example in the African continent, and we know that the countries have strategic cooperation between them. So far, how do you view this relationship?
China has been a very important and a strategic partner in all our development efforts. An Ethiopian economic transformation by way of investment, trade, finance, availing scholarship of capacity building, among others. China was very good, supportive in all our transformational endeavors. The relationship between Ethiopia and China has deep roots, as our two countries shared history of being ancient civilization and having rich culture and history. So the relationship between Ethiopia and China is strategic, also historic, and as well we do have a very strong relationship in economic exchange.
Mr. Prime Minister, we also understand in few weeks or in a week or so time, the Forum for Cooperation between China and Africa, FOCAC, is coming up. What are your views on this platform?
Well, most of Africa leaders are planning to go to Beijing after a week to participate on FOCAC forum. FOCAC is all about the cooperation between Africa and China. I expect to discuss on ways of taking our bilateral partnership forward by identifying key future areas of cooperation. I am hoping that this forum will further cement the friendship and the spirit of cooperation that already exists between China and Africa. Also, we will enhance the relationship between Ethiopia and China.
Also, Mr. Prime Minister, many people say that the cooperation between China and Africa, or China and Ethiopia, is based on a win-win foundation. How do you think African leaders can make the best out of this cooperation?
This is a great opportunity for us to express our feeling and our desire towards China. And I hope we can change the discussion into a win-win cooperation. The forum itself mainly aims to make our cooperation win-win, and President Xi has got a very good vision, which they call it Belt and Road Initiative. And this Belt and Road Initiative is mainly to connect Africa, Europe, and Asia. On this infrastructure investment, I hope Africa will have a great opportunity to exchange trade, goods and services. This is a base for us to create a win-win cooperation between Ethiopia and China, and Africa and China as well.
Many analysts are saying that Ethiopia, with the change, the reform that we are looking at, is leading by example. For example, in this region, when it comes to peace, democracy, and other areas. According to you, Mr. Prime Minister, what is the vision that you have for the African continent so that the continent can deliver back to its people?
Well, as everybody knows, the demographic report on the youth is remarkable. 60% of African population is under 25. So we should lead Africa from the emerging future. The emerging future must understand paying attention for war, conflict, and hatred is enough for this continent. We have invested a lot for the last couple of decades on fighting each other. We have been working on each other for years, and we have to stop that and start working for each other. the cooperation between African countries, very important to build the Africa we're visioning, so as to change the attitude towards war and hatred. We have to nurture and cultivate peace and positive attitude towards our society. Especially the new generation must invest all his knowledge, capital, towards peace and synergy for all African youngsters to work for each other and to work together. So in Africa, we do have lots of opportunities if we could exploit it. And the hope I have for African youth is to change the leadership style and to think how Africa can be a model for global youth movement, not only in politics but also in trade, innovation, and communication among African countries.